Hey guys, Jason Alamo with the Weekly V. I wanted to put something a little bit different together. We're going to do a few parts here. Guys, baseball coaches aren't talking about this. Um, you know, Counselors aren't talking about this a lot. And so I wanted to bring to the table what we actually talk about quite a bit and getting everybody set up. And I'm going to move myself over here so we can talk. So, parents, this is kind of the ugly reality. And so, what ends up happening is you're just happy to get your child a baseball scholarship if that ever happens, if it's a possibility. And if it works out, it works out. And we'll get to that point when we can, right? And life gets busy and we're just struggling to get our kids to do well in school at the high school level and pass their tests and do good on their end of course exams. And then you have the SAT, which is another big thing. And so you're in survival mode. Most parents don't sit back and backwards plan this thing, and it's costing you almost $100,000 in money sometimes, if not more, depending on the situation. So really important and really simple. I'm going to show you something that is really simple to look at and to understand. But again, 99.9%, maybe even 100% of parents that I've talked to, that I interact with, have never looked at this, have no idea what we're talking about until we do. And that's why I created the College Baseball Planner. That's our huge program with 40 videos, goes through all kinds of great stuff from A to Z, because that's what's really important. Again, trying to find the big need that nobody's really talking about or wants to talk about. And so this is super important. And so we took a university here like Baylor University, and this is their numbers. Actually, a little bit lower, is 44,000 something in 2017. So probably higher than this right now. But we just went with this just to be on the safe side. This is without room and board, which with meals. So this is just a tuition. So you're looking at another 13 to 15,000 in addition to all that other stuff. But we're just going to keep it at tuition just so you can get an understanding, because these numbers are still so big. Now, this is a private school. There's a lot of private schools in the United States, in Texas, and they are similar in their tuition, if not higher. And so if your son wants to have a chance at playing, this is something that you need to look into if they want to be able to play at some of these schools. Now, there's a lot of in-state schools that are much different with the prices, 15,000, 16, 18,000, a lot less. And so that's what you want to look at. But what we always talk about with our guys is options, right? Having the most options and not being able to look at the school like this if they liked you because of finances, because you prepared to make it an option. All right. And so let's look at this. By the way, this also works with the lower tuition at in-state schools, and you can come out of there. Many years ago, I actually knew of somebody, they were sending them a check that they didn't have any, it was a scholarship, but if you had everything else covered, they sent you a check. I don't know if they still do that, but he had everything else paid for. There was no way to spend the money. So anyway, 44,000 in tuition times four, $176,000 over 4 years for tuition alone. So now you say, well, gee, my kid's getting a baseball scholarship. That's what we want. And that's a big accomplishment, by the way, but look what you're getting. You're going to get $11,000 a year if you get 25%. Now, baseball does not have a lot of scholarships like football. They get very few. And so this is pretty much the average. Some pitchers, some high draft picks are trying to get on campus, might get a little bit more. But guys, let's agree that even if this number went up quite a bit, 40%, it's still not going to make a huge difference. So we're looking at 25% baseball scholarship. You're looking at, let me get rid of that. You're getting at $11,000 a year, 44,000 over 4 years. So now you come out of school, 132,000 in debt. By the way, that is not counting your room and board. So we're looking into 160, 170. Okay, that is insane, crippling. You'll never be able to get out of it. I mean, you can, but oh man, is it going to be some hard work? That is certainly not, as a parent, the position we want to put our kids in and the position we want for them. Now you say, well, we have a college fund we've been saving, etc. Well, by the way, even if you're covering this, why give it away for no reason? Okay, so a lot of times you can use that money in different ways that cover education. And I know some of them you can even kind of move into like cars and different things, different expenses. It just depends on how the money's structured that you've saved in your savings for the college. But why just give this away? So if your answer is, hey, we have 132 saved in a college fund, why give it away if it's not necessary? Why do it that way? So how can you lower this number by 55%? And so the answer is an automatic merit scholarships that these schools offer. So most of the time there's a calendar, and I'm going to show a calculator, and I'm going to show you how you put in different numbers, class rank, SAT, etc., and they automatically give you money towards your towards your tuition. And so you can lower this by about 55% by knowing those numbers and to strive for those numbers. And then all of a sudden, guys, this becomes a reality. So now if this is 55% lower over 4 years, maybe you have that college fund, maybe you're able to scrounge together. Maybe you decide that you want to take out a loan for the future, but it's 50, 60,000 instead of 132. Agreed, it's still a lot, but it's something to actually maybe even potentially think about. All right, so huge. All right, now automatic merit scholarships, a couple things I'm going to tell you. You have to know the numbers of what those schools accept. So a lot of them are not just some random pool of like, maybe we'll select you. You actually will qualify, and you can figure that out early in your application of, do you meet these numbers? They'll offer that to you automatically, most of them. And so that's great news. Now here's the other thing, and we're going to cover this in part 2 or part 3, to be able to mix and commingling of funds, which in real estate you're not supposed to do that. That's one of the terms we learned. But commingling, to use both baseball scholarship money and academic money together. There are other requirements. Usually, by the way, if you meet the automatic merit scholarship numbers to get your scholarship money, you're able to accept both. The reason they did this, and so as long as you meet this, and I'm going to show you what that is, it really is not an issue, but the reason they did this is so schools don't try to circumvent and try to go around the baseball scholarship being capped out. And it still kind of happens because some of these schools are able to offer a lot of merit scholarship and stuff like that, but it is legal. So if you meet this, then you're able to match this up if they want to give you this. Now, before I leave you, one more thing. What if you meet this and your dream is school is Baylor, and they say, we don't have any scholarship money, you're going to be a preferred walk-on? By the way, if you have this, now all of a sudden you can play here instead of going into this crazy situation of debt and being able to play there. And then second year, maybe you get some more baseball scholarship money. As long as you keep your grades up, this should continue for all 4 years. So really stuff to look at. Guys, parents, just kind of stick with these videos. They're going to teach you a lot, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.